Welcome, everyone. Thank you, Christine, for that wonderful welcome, and welcome, everyone. So I will hand it over with our outline. So what we're going to cover today. So we're going to cover a lot of software. So the first section will be our cloud storage. And then we're going to do survey tools, email tools, and then staying organized. So the software in each of those is this here. So in the storage, I'll go through Dropbox, Google Drive, OneDrive, and SharePoint. Then in the survey section, we have Google Forms, SurveyMonkey, and Microsoft Forms. And then we do a little thing different. I'm going to explain the differences between Outlook Desktop and Outlook.com because people don't realize there's a difference. And then there's Gmail. And in the last section, we'll talk about task management, which we're going to see Trello, Asana, and Planner. And a little heads up, a lot of these I already have an account with, so you're going to see it real life. You're going to see my actual accounts, so you might see some interesting stuff, but that's the way you're going to see it real life use. Okay, so the first one we're going to talk about is Dropbox. So this is going to be a show and tell. So I have each of these open and we're going to go through each one. So let me get that here. All right, so Dropbox. As we know, Dropbox is one of those big ones that came out. It's one of the most popular cloud storage options, and it's popular with all businesses of all different sizes and many different industries. It supports multiple operating systems. And the interesting thing they did when they came out is to get more free space, you invite people to your Dropbox and then you actually get more space. So by referring friends, you actually get free space. And it does sync across multiple devices. I use my Dropbox here on my desktop. It also goes to my smartphone and to a tablet too. So it's great for that. This here is the main screen of the Dropbox web-based. You also have the Dropbox desktop. And in here you can see when you have folders that are shared, you get the head symbol. If they're not shared, then you can save them for yourself. Okay. The next one we're going to go to is Google Drive. So now Google Drive has actually been around since April 24th, 2012. And it allows users to store files on their servers, sync across other devices, and share files. So you get Google Drive automatically if you're an Android user. So if you have an Android phone, you'll automatically have Google Drive. You also get 15 gigs of free storage, much more than Dropbox. Dropbox starts off small and then it goes up. It seamlessly works with Gmail and Google Photos and all the other types there. Now, Google Drive has their own little, Microsoft has the Office suite, Google Drive has its own. So over in the top left, when I click on New, you'll see there's Google Docs, which is exactly like Microsoft Word, Google Sheets, which is Excel, Google Slides is PowerPoint, and then Forms is another form. With the Google Drive, you have an option here. You can see who's shared with me. So these would be files that have been shared with me. I have my recent ones I've worked on, and I can also star them. So if I star them, they're now at the top, which is a very handy tool. And it tells you how much storage space you have, so you're not looking around for it. And you can share files with any number of different users with different access rights, or you can keep them public by just providing a link to that person. Okay, so that is Google Drive. The next one is OneDrive, which is the Microsoft product. This is their cloud storage and file syncing service. OneDrive is included if you have a Windows 10 and Windows 11 computer. In fact, if you set up a new Windows computer for the first time, you will be prompted to create a OneDrive folder in Windows. There is also a OneDrive for the Mac available too. Now, this one works seamlessly with all the Windows and the Office 365 products. And it comes free with Windows 10 or 11, and it gives you 5 gig, so GB, but there is no Office apps included. To get the OneDrive with Microsoft 365, the cost is between $79 a year to 109 Canadian. So, as you can see here, it does show me if I have pictures in here. I also have that option for recent, showing me my recent files. I can sort them as I could with the others. It also has a section showing your photos and ones that you are sharing with others too. So you can see a variety of things that way. All right, and the last one we're going to do is SharePoint. Now, SharePoint is a web-based collaborative platform that's being used in tandem with the Microsoft SQL Server to provide business intelligence, analytics, and reporting. It can provide BI content such as data connections, reports, scorecards, and dashboards. With SharePoint, users can share files, data, news, and resources, and it can be streamlined for your team's work. So this is the one for the Great Canadian Training. This is theirs, and you can see they have different sections. And if I wanted to go, and then you have your frequent sites. You can create a new site. You can go into each one and see what the different options are that way. And you can also, you can actually search throughout all of your sites there too. With SharePoint, you need to have a work or school Microsoft 365 account. It is great for teams so that you can all communicate and collaborate with your employees in one place. And it's a great place to upload your team files, documents, to collaborate and check in on workflows and what people are working on. So to recap, you'll see each one has a little bit of a difference, but they all basically have a grid system. You can do a lot of sharing. You can choose who you want to share with, and each one gives you so much storage space. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the Forms sections. So the first one we're going to talk about is Google Forms. So this is a Google Form dashboard. It is an app for creating forms, surveys, and quizzes, and it comes free with a Google account. So the way it works, it's very easy to use. There's interface very similar to a document editor where you can use drop-down lists and options. You can embed images and videos into your surveys, and you can also program the flow with custom logic. So when you do this, so I'll open up one here. This is one that was done in French. You can see the responses. You can do a summary or by questions. You also have an option to change the theme. So you can have the theme based on your company. When you want to see what it looks like, you can click the preview to see what it looks like to your customers that are going to fill it out. And when you're ready to send, you click the send, and you have options on how to send it. So you can buy email, buy a link, and this is important. You can shorten the URL so it's not so long. So that's Google Forms. Now the next one that's very popular out there also is SurveyMonkey. So this is the world's largest survey company that was founded in 1999 with the focus on helping people make better decisions, and has built technology on over 10 years of experience in the survey methodology and web development. Now, they have a variety of plans. The As you can see here, I'll go to the plans and pricing. If you get the free one only allows 10 questions and you can only collect up to 40 responses per survey. So you can see there's teams, there's individual plans, and there's enterprise. So you see they have lots of different options based on what you're doing. They do come also with A/B testing. So A/B testing is handy when you want to see what types of questions work better. There's question and page skip logic, and you can create multilingual surveys. So that is SurveyMonkey. The Microsoft version of these is called Microsoft Forms. And here you can actually create forms such as a survey or a quiz, and you can invite others to respond to it using almost any web browser or mobile and see your real-time results as they're submitted using the built-in analytics to evaluate the responses and export the results to Excel for additional analyzing or if you want to do charts. Now, this is available to Office 365 education customers, the apps for business customers, and users that have a Microsoft account, which in the old days you used to call it Hotmail, but now it's called Outlook.com. Now, a unique thing that Forms has is that you can send your form via a QR code. So I'm going to show you how you do that. So over here on the share button, once you have your form done, when you click share, you actually have 4 different choices. So on the right side, you can choose who do you want to send this to, and I can say anyone. I can shorten this URL. I can send it as a link. I can also send it as a QR code. And we know QR codes have been quite popular during the pandemic because it's a touchless thing. So that is a unique feature of Microsoft Forms. And there are themes in there too. You can also preview to see what your form will look like before you send it off to people. So a little recap of those 3. We had Google Forms, which has a little bit of a similar look to Microsoft Forms. You can also see all your surveys. You can copy and paste them. SurveyMonkey is a little bit more robust with different paid programs. They have a lot of logic and page skip logic. And Microsoft Forms allows you to, let me go back to show you that, is you can actually see, you can send your survey out with the QR code, which is really cool. Okay. So now we're going to go on to learn about the differences between Outlook Desktop and Gmail. So first of all, I want to explain the differences. So we got here, whoops, the differences. So we have a desktop Outlook, which requires you to install the application and configure it for your email. They have a very easy setup to set up your inbox. The webmail version, you can access your email anywhere in any browser, and it's accessible from any computer. So the webmail is something that is really handy if you travel a lot and you want to access your email. A lot of the desktop versions, if you have to access it, you would have to, a lot of places will allow you to do it through a VPN, a virtual private network. So there's a little bit more work involved in that, but it's also more secure. So now we're going to show you the differences. So I'm going to show you Outlook Desktop. So here's the Outlook Desktop. As you can see, I have actually put in an old Hotmail account and use it that way. In the desktop version, it comes part of the Microsoft 365 package. You have an option for calendars, email scheduling. There's a nice part here where you can actually use quick parts. So if you're composing a new message and you're always sending the same thing over and over again, yes, you can use templates, but there's a section called quick parts. So you can actually add little chunks or paragraphs to your items, or you can even add pictures if you needed a picture at the same time. So the quick parts are handy. Now, Outlook also integrates with Teams and all the Microsoft Suite programs. The Outlook desktop has 15 gigs of email storage for free, and it's not shared with any of the other Microsoft apps. They will give you an additional 5 gig of storage for files in OneDrive. Now, when you're attaching email attachments in Outlook, the desktop, the maximum size is 10 megabytes, and that's the Exchange server mailbox. So if you have to go over that, you will have to do them in separate emails. Microsoft also scans all of your attachments for viruses and malware using their advanced detection techniques, giving you higher protection. So now we'll go to the Outlook.com. So go here. So the Outlook.com looks a little bit different. Now, Outlook.com was actually called Hotmail. And does anybody know when Hotmail actually started? You can put it in the chat box if you know. Would you imagine it's from 1996? So it's been around. Hotmail started in 1996. I actually got a Hotmail account in 1997, and I still have the same one. So, and it was made a public webmail service that could be accessed from any web browser. So in 2011, Microsoft phased out Hotmail and relaunched it as the service Outlook.com in 2012. Now, all of your Outlook.com accounts are automatically also part of the Microsoft, but you can turn any other email address into a Microsoft account as well. So very similarly, this one looks a little bit different. You do have your inboxes and you can do folders. When you do have new email, you check it there. Your options are a little bit different. They're actually located under the gearbox and the top banner. You have your settings and you can actually change your Outlook settings that way. Compared to a software version, the desktop version, you actually have to go to File Options. So they set it up differently. This one does allow you to also, they call them not contacts, they call them people. So you have your people section, which then opens up in another window. You also have attachments, your to-do list, and so forth. So that is the Outlook.com version. So a little bit different, but it is streamlined. You can still see everything that you do have. The third option in the email system is Gmail. So Gmail, this is my Gmail account. Gmail was powered by Google, and you have access is offered to desktop clients through the Google Gmail API. So when they want to sync data from Gmail to Calendar, they actually don't let you don't have to use your password. They use a Gmail API. Now, the difference between Outlook and Gmail is the folders. So over here, when you're in here and you're in your email, you actually can set up folders. And we're so used to that. We're so used to actually having subfolders in each of our inboxes. But in Gmail, we actually use labels. So you can see here, the way I've set up mine is that I have labels for certain clients, and that if I want to see just their information, I can go over to the side and I can click just on that person and see their label. And the nice thing is too, I tend to use a lot of color, so I color code people that way too. Gmail comes with 15 gigabytes of free storage, but it's shared with Photos and Drive. The maximum attachment size for and in this email is 25 megs. Now, and if you do go over the 25 megs, which Google does, is they will actually upload the file to Google Drive and include a link in your email. Gmail also allows a two-step verification, and they do have its own virus protection system in there too. So that is Gmail. So as you can see, the differences between the two, just to recap. So when it comes to email attachments, in Outlook Desktop, it's 10. In Outlook.com, it is 20 megs. And in Gmail, it's 25 megs. All right, so we'll move on to the task management systems. So we have Trello. So Trello is a project management tool that's based on the Kanban framework. It's ideal for task management in a to-do list format. And it basically has boards and cards that you can use. So I'll open up one so you can see here. So in this case, we've made up a form. You can see they're a sports company, so we put a picture in the background. And you can put these are your boards, and these are the cards. And it's easy saying, all right, we've finished this one, so we can just drag and drop it over. The free version has lots of things that are available to it, and there's a lot of basic integrations. You can actually integrate it with Dropbox and a few other softwares. You can assign cards to your team members. It's just easy. You just type in their name. You can add checklists, attachments, reminders, due dates, comments. You can also add team members that are not part of your team in there by just adding their email address. And it does work great also on an Android and an iPhone. It has its own app. The other one that's out there that's quite popular is Asana. So Asana is a cloud-based project management software that it says is employed by businesses of all types. It's an excellent tool for keeping track of complex and massive projects. It also functions as a platform for task management, collaboration, document management, workflow management, project portfolio management, and a variety of other functions. So in here, I have a project, and in this case, we can see that there's 3 of us working on it. We decide what we're working on, when you actually complete a task. So let me see here. So if we take this one on a task, they actually have an option. When you're finished, you can actually mark it complete. You can also attach documents in there and tag people in your actual comments in there. So all of it's in one. You don't have to email each person back and forth. Now, Microsoft's version is the Microsoft Planner. So this is what it will look like. Planner is a lightweight, mobile, and web-based software that's included in Office 365 for Business. And consequently, anybody who has a paid Business Office 365 subscription actually has Planner. And if you're not sure where it would be, when you go up to the top left where you have the Rubik's Cube, you can actually click in there and you should see it option. If not, you can always go to All Apps and type the name and it should pop up there. So you do have it available if you have the Business Office 365. It's an excellent tool for keeping track of even the most complex and massive projects. It also has task management, collaboration, document management, workflow management, and project. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I was reading off the wrong one. It has actually Kanban boards, and it provides detailed information on each of the activities. Now, the neat thing they have is a planner hub. So this is where you can see all your tasks, and time can be broken down into detailed reports on the tasks, progress, and where the time has been spent. It allows your teams also to keep track of how many tasks that have been allocated and how far they've been progressing. You can view your team members and assign tasks across the board so you can see if any one person is overloaded. Unfortunately, there is no option to tag members, but you can. There is a built-in calendar feature, so you can add tasks and due dates, and it has a lot of integration with Teams, OneNote, and all the other Microsoft platforms. So those are our different tools. I'm going to thank you very much, everyone. I look forward to your questions, and I'm going to give it back to you, Christine.
Hey guys, okay, let me just share my screen with you. Give me a couple of minutes. I'm going to just very quickly show you our website in case you are interested in any of our courses, and then I will be passing you back to Salma. So take advantage of Salma being here, asking her any questions about any of the software that she just showed you. Think of your questions, pop them in the chat. Meanwhile, let me flip you over to our websites. I'll focus on one of the websites. Again, we have the CompUE's and Great Canadian Training. Right now, I'm on the CompUE's website. And I just wanted to point out, and then I'll move you into Great Canadian Training and probably focus in there mostly. But on the CompUE's website, if you are interested and you're in the Ottawa area or Quebec area, like I said, and you want to take training, there is a course list link where you can access all of our outlines, overviews of courses, look at the dates they're scheduled, everything's there. And I'm also going to show you when I do get to Great Canadian Training that there are also a lot of great free resources offered on both sites. So if you look up in the top right corner of CompUE's, there is a link to the free resources. But I'll use the Great Canadian Training website just to point a couple of things out to you. So I'll switch over right now. So this is the Great Canadian Training website. To access the courses, again, there's a course link at the top here. You can either go to all of our courses and get one great big list, or narrow it down to the specific types of training. For example, Microsoft. Under the Microsoft training, oh my gosh, like we offer almost all the Microsoft applications in some way or another with training. For example, Salma did mention things like Planner. She was just talking about Planner with your Kanban boards. There's Planner, there's the online version of Outlook, the web version of Outlook, OneDrive, that type of thing. You'll find that type of training under our Microsoft 365 overview course. So it's a one-day course that goes into all of the different apps that you would have available if you have a Microsoft, like a full professional version of Microsoft Planner, To Do, like I said, OneDrive, the online version of Outlook. What is Sway? You probably have heard of all these little applications, Delve, things like that. That's all covered under our Microsoft 365 training. So you get more in depth there. But we also offer the desktop version training of things like Outlook, level 1 and level 2 of Outlook, full desktop version. If you're interested in SharePoint, you want to learn more about SharePoint, we have a couple of different types of courses for SharePoint. Oh, Teams is another good one. And don't forget, Salma was showing you things like Trello, Google Drive, Google Docs. She was talking about things like that, which is great. But the nice thing about the Microsoft side of things, the Planner and the Outlook, is they all integrate with your Microsoft products, and especially Teams. And Salma was mentioning this to you earlier. So if you guys are Teams users, it's sometimes there's more of a seamless integration if you were to start using OneDrive and Forms. Forms integrates with Teams really well. Forms integrates with Outlook very well too. So that's the nice thing about sort of being fully Microsoft kind of. So all of our courses are here. Like I said, we have the free resources up in the top right corner here, and I'll just take you there to show you some of the stuff we have. So we have podcasts, our soft skills, like our professional skills trainer, Joel Silverstone. He runs these communications, Be a Great Communicator podcast. Great podcasts. They're free. You can listen, you can watch on YouTube. So check those out. We offer free downloads. Oh, I've been teaching a lot of accessibility courses lately, making your documents accessible. And one of the things that we have is free accessibility ribbons. So if you are making your documents accessible, why not have a ribbon with sort of a one-stop shop kind of thing that has all of the buttons all in one location to make your document accessible rather than jump around the different ribbons. Joel has virtual facilitation in 3 steps. It's a great infographic. So check that out if you're a facilitator, if you have to facilitate meetings or what are they called? Retreats, that type of thing. Shortcuts. If you're into the shortcuts, I use those keyboard shortcuts a lot. So we're always adding to these shortcuts. So keep coming back. You'll see more and more shortcuts appear here. And then, of course, the webinars, which you guys are in right now. I'll click this register button. So here's the webinar that we're running right now. But to give you an idea, next month, Joel, who I was just talking about that does the podcasts, he's going to be running the webinar next month, Effective Time Management, Take the Stress Out, which I think I'm going to sit through. So you can register for that if you're interested. A month after that, actually, I'll be doing the one a month after that, top 10 Outlook productivity hacks, like a top 10. And depending on time, I'll probably do more than top 10. I'll give you your top 10, but if we have time, I'll throw in some extra because there are some pretty cool hacks that you may not be using. So if you have a chance, attend that webinar. Lots and lots of webinars. So keep checking back. You'll see some more posted very soon, actually. So check it out. Okay. So now's the time. If you have any questions, looks like, that's a good question. Looks like you have a question there, Salma. Let me unshare or stop sharing my screen so I can pass it back to you.
Thank you, Christine. Yes, so somebody asked, how do you color your folders in Google Drive? So I can show you that quickly. That's an easy thing. So here I'm in my Google Drive. If I want to color them, all you need to do is right click, and down below we have change color, and you can choose one of those colors there. So if I wanted to make this one, let's make it this nice bubblegum color. So now it's a bubblegum color. So that's how you would do that. Does anyone else have any questions, comments? Which one do people find the easiest or hardest to use? Do people use Google Forms or Microsoft Forms? Yes. Um, yes, that's true. Yeah, Christine said working in a Microsoft environment makes Google harder for me to figure out. Yeah, because they all change the way it looks. But yeah, Microsoft is great that everything is consistent. All of the keyboard shortcuts are the same throughout the board.
Yeah, I'm not sure if other people are like this. The way that I work, because I teach a lot of the Microsoft products. I find that for work, I use the Microsoft products a lot because, like I was saying, everything integrates. And then in my personal life, it's so funny. In my personal, it's Gmail. I use Gmail for my email, the Google Forms. And so I do that kind of in my personal life, but I don't know if that's the way everybody works. A lot of
Yep.
people.
Yeah, some people are saying they
Yeah.
use it business and personal, and it depends. Yes, because there might be certain forms you do not want, your business to see. So we do have our personal side, and we have all our personal documents saved separate from our business documents. So depending on how your organization is structured.
Yeah, I use the Google Calendar a lot in my personal, and I have several groups that we're always booking things, and
Yep.
we do everything through Google Calendar.
Yeah. Someone says, can you add a banner at the top in MS Forms? Well, let me see here. So if I was, let me go back here and I'll create a new form. So you're talking about how Google Forms has a section here. I believe you can only do a theme. You can add a theme, which is the background. Um, and you can add a form. You can give the title, but I don't believe it has that option like in Google Forms. I think what he's talking about is here I can actually add this banner here on what it actually is. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of a difference that way.
I think you're able to select the forum section at the top, and you can choose an insert image
Well,
option.
I could do under the theme, I can choose a different custom theme, but that's if I upload an image. So let me just, it's springtime. So let's look for something springy and see what pops up. Oh, those are nice.
Oh, spring's coming soon.
Yeah, we want to move forward. See, so it actually just does it in the background. It's not going to do it as a banner per se. And I don't think here now you can add a choice, text box, rating, date, like art, upload. You can add a section, but then it's just a different section, and now you just have the welcome area. So yes, that's true. You're welcome. Thank you, business planning and management, for your question. Does anyone else have any comments or questions?
One of the things that I get asked a lot just while they're putting their questions in, um, with my Microsoft training, I get asked a lot, what is the difference between me using OneDrive and using SharePoint? Because a lot of people don't quite understand SharePoint and what is the difference, because they've heard that you can share files on SharePoint, but you can also share files on OneDrive. So why use one over the other? And the best way I can describe it, and I think the easiest way I can describe it, is if the files that you're sharing are more for yourself and for your personal use, that's kind of what OneDrive is for. So you're putting your files on OneDrive so that you can access them anywhere you go in the world. So if you take a trip to Switzerland and you're staying at a hotel, you can go onto the internet, log into your Microsoft account, and access your OneDrive. Yes, you can share files with other people on OneDrive, but it's sort of for your one-off files, really. So once in a while you want to share this with somebody or that with somebody, but by default, when you put the file on OneDrive, it's for yourself. You have to go out of your way to share it. Whereas SharePoint is set up so that it's a site where people are members of the SharePoint site. So people are part of that SharePoint site. And then whatever files you share on SharePoint, anybody that's a member of that SharePoint site automatically has access to them. So if you guys have ever used a share drive at work, you know how some of you guys have an H drive or a G drive or whatever, and it's a share drive. You know that if you put files or folders there, everybody that has access to the drive can access them. And that's what SharePoint is like. It makes it easy to share files with a bunch of people. It just automatically, you put it there, everybody has access to it. So it depends on really what the file's for. I mean, that's one of the biggest things about the file sharing on those two sites. I'm asked that a lot if you guys are interested.
Well, thanks for sharing, Christine. Does anyone else have any comments or questions on the tools that we've demonstrated today?
Sounds like you explained things very well, Selma.
How many people still have a Hotmail account? Put up your hand if you still have one of those Hotmail accounts.
Oh, you made me feel so old with that.
I know.
I
I
can
know.
remember it.
I know. I still have it too. And it's funny, you can still
I still
actually
have one.
log in. You can actually just type hotmail.com and it will bring you right there. Oh,
Oh, really?
we have a question. Can we run Excel files which have codes attached to them on SharePoint? Christine, can you help them with that? Since
Yeah, I'm not the SharePoint trainer, but we can get that information for you. And are you talking about when you say that have codes attached, are you talking like a macro VBA? Is that what you're talking about, Rita? Yeah.
yes.
Okay, well, we can get that information. We have a designated SharePoint trainer that would know more about running macros in SharePoint. And we'll get that information to you for sure. I don't want to answer. I could hazard a guess, but I don't want to say 100%. Okay.
Yeah, she said
We'll
thank
find out.
you.
I know the macros are they're always an issue, right?
Well, macros are, a mini program in
Yeah.
itself. And, before they always were worried that they would carry viruses. So you do have to be careful with them.
Yeah, government with their security, especially any of you guys that are government, it's an issue with our classes too sometimes with the macros. I know exactly. All security say, yep.
Okay, so someone asked, how will you set up Trello to task my family to do their task around the house? All right, actually,
Groceries.
you can. So let me go back to my Trello boards. I think I made one here. So you can, when you set up a board, you can actually get a template. So let me do this. I'll create a board. You can go to template and you can find maybe a board about actually, let's see here, explore templates. So you can see they have a whole bunch of templates. I'm just waiting for it to load. And let's see if we call it, I'll just put in housework. Household chores. Look at that. Someone actually has one called household chores. And so this is the actual template already there for you. So you can then, now you would have to have all your kids have Trello on their smartphone, and then they would actually get assigned, and hopefully you can give them rewards when they complete a task. So I hope that helps you. That gives you a little bit of a thing there. Louise commented, there can be restricted access to files on SharePoint depending on who sets it up and who runs it, i.e., the IT person. She worked on a project where I had to keep explaining to the project manager I could not access the same files she could because the IT person restricted her access. Yes, it's always fun. Yeah. And business planning, yes, that's true. The reward will be more tasks. Maybe, maybe. But maybe they would also like to have, you can make almost like I want to say a competition to see who gets the task done quicker, and then it shows on everybody. So you do have that option. Good luck on that on business planning, on getting your kids to do tasks around the house.
You know, too, one of the things that Microsoft offers that we haven't really talked about in this webinar, but it is shown in one of our past webinars. I did a webinar about the differences between Planner, To Do, that type of thing. There is an app called To Do
Yeah.
in Microsoft, and you can share your to-do list with other people. Like I created a to-do list called groceries, and I shared it with my husband, and then I add groceries to the list, and then he does the grocery shopping. He goes and does the grocery shopping, and I can see him actually marking things off, and I can add things while he's at the grocery store. So there is that. You don't have to be in a Kanban kind of mode. You can just
Yep.
use a list mode.
Yeah, here's the to-do option. So I went to I call it the Rubik's Cube in the top left corner, and I went to all apps, and down below there was to do. So this is what to do looks like. So you can add simple tasks, you can plan them or assign them, you can flag them also. Rona asks, is there a charge for Trello? Well, I believe the way Trello works, let me just there it's free, and then if you add people, you actually get little points to it so that you can actually use some of their pro. I actually have the free version. I'm just looking here. Billing, or we'll go to help. That would probably be the easiest. So here's their pricing section. So it says here it's 0 for individuals or teams looking just to organize anything. And you can see in the free version, this is what's included. So you get quite a bit in their free version, but you also have the Microsoft To Do version also. Now, Christine, does the To Do version have an app on your phone that you can use?
Yes.
Okay. And is it also will it work on an Apple, or does it only work on a Windows and Android phone?
I don't know. I don't have Android. I would assume that it would work on Android. It used to be To Do bought out, I can't remember what the other app was, which was not an Android app. I can't remember what
Okay.
it was. And that other app worked on it on Androids. So
Right.
I'm assuming To Do would work on Androids.
Right.
But that's how we use it. We use it on our phones all the
Right.
time.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So both of them are good that way too. So
Yeah.
hopefully that helps you, Rhonda, and business planning about your questions there. And the one thing is, whatever programs you want to use, you just want to stick to one. You don't want to go, back and forth and keep using them and practice. Practice is practice. Is Trello available in French? Good question. I'm not sure. I would have to check. Um, Let me just check quickly if it's available in French.
I used to use Trello years ago, then we switched over to Planner. They're so
Yeah.
similar.
Well, a lot of them are always going to be similar. They're not
Yeah.
going to be too way off in left field, as they say.
Yeah.
Um,
It was actually very easy to switch to Planner.
so apparently you can change your Trello is available in 20 different languages.
Ooh,
I
cool.
just checked that. So I'll just show that for you. So, and I'll put the link in here for you so you can look that up. So it does say that it's available in over 20 languages. There, I'll make the screen bigger So you have English, Portuguese, French, Spanish, German, Finnish, Norwegian, and so forth. And the mobile says you can, oh, now switching language for our Trello mobile apps is not an option. Trello will automatically use the language that is selected as the system language for your device. So if your device isn't French, then it would stay to French. So I hope that helps you. Wonderful questions, everyone. Thank you. Yeah, it is different when you do have different programs and you speak different languages. And then, of course, in Canada, we have the English and French. And here in New Brunswick, we're bilingual. So they do have to have things both in English and French when you are giving things.
Any other questions, guys? Now's your chance.
Great Canadian training. You have your hand up.
Sorry, I left it up when you asked if anyone still has a Hotmail account.
That's too funny.
Years on Zoom and I'm still slow with it.
No, that was fine. You know, because it's hard to always see all the multiple screens.
Hey, Rhonda.
Well, thank you, everyone. I hope I've given you some information, and hopefully we'll see you at another webinar.
Thank you, everybody. You guys take care. Have a good afternoon. Bye, Cheryl. Bye, everybody. Bye, Claire.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Take care.
For those
Great,
that are
I'm
left,
gonna end it so we can get the recording.
great,
Woohoo.
thank you.
Good job, guys.
All right. Going to hang up. Bye, everybody.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone. Have a great week.
Bye, Selma.